Hi, you guys. Deja vu. Oh my God, I'm 15 again. Um,
Yeah, we used to do YouTube videos together.
mhm. So welcome to our podcast that we haven't named yet. We probably will have named it by the time we release this.
This might be a podcast. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, what are we doing? I'm just kidding.
We're just rolling with it.
No, it's definitely a podcast. But yeah. So I'm Gianna.
Genevieve.
We're twin sisters.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching this, you probably already know that. And we're also business owners and spiritual. And she's a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an aunt. Um, and yeah, we are going to on our podcast because we just decided that's what this is. I'm just kidding. No, we decided that a while ago. But we're gonna be talking about things probably and like exploring conversations, in a candid and like fun way. But we're just gonna be like talking about things that like the girl for the girlies, you know what I mean? Like business and relationships and sex and we'll try not to fight like too obviously on camera. um because I mean, like we're like 30 years old and yeah, as soon as
Like
you
30.
I mean
Mhm.
technically, but it's like as soon as you put us in front of a camera together, it's like there's a little weird vibe on stuff. It's like this
No,
weird
no,
slow
I don't, I, I
thing.
don't, I mean, I don't feel like that. To me, it's more like, we've been doing our own things for so long that it's like, I made a joke she put on and I was like the middle
And I was
for
like,
this. And I was like, can you just like creep in the corner? No, but we've been doing our own thing for so long that it's like, I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. Um, so yeah. But so I suppose there's a few things that we want to talk about in the sense of
So you may have noticed Gianna has been at my house.
you nosy son. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I know people love me and care about me, which is sweet.
Yeah,
So spoiler alert, it's not going to be a long distance podcast.
because Gianna is here and she's not just here visiting anymore.
This is true.
So what is the truth, Gianna?
Yeah. So man, yeah, I am kind of going through a breakup, but like, I don't know, it's been kind of happening behind the scenes for a couple of months. So I don't know, like parasocial relationships are very interesting because I like to
Which
be,
tell people what that means because I didn't even know what that was until like you told me.
yeah. So okay, parasocial is like your relationship with your followers and your audience and like
Mm-hmm.
your clients ish, but it's like your people
Mm-hmm.
online. Um, And, I know not everybody is this way. Like I have some, a lot of coach friends, but also like a few relationship coach friends, and they like specifically like to keep their relationship stuff like offline, which I understand, but I don't really like that. Because I just feel like,
That would be so weird if like you're a relationship coach and you keep your relationship private. I don't know. That would just be really hard. I feel like that for me, that would create a lot of like just push pull and duplicity and like separation and
like for who?
a part of showing up on the internet. Like I feel like this is why we fell in love with it and why we started online businesses so many years ago and started a YouTube channel together when we were teenagers is because it was like connecting with people and like sharing and giving a fuck and like growing and evolving in real time and sharing that with people. And yeah, it's fucking hard sometimes because it's awkward and uncomfortable and vulnerable and you don't have to share everything or every blow by blow in your life. like like I used to.
Yeah, we
Like,
really had no filter.
yeah, like there was like
Subject.
and I feel like with maturity, right? For me, like becoming a mom, like getting married, becoming a mom, it's like I like a little bit of privacy now. I don't share fucking every blow by blow, but I do share a fair amount, especially if you watch my Instagram stories. I share a lot there.
Yeah.
But, there was a point where I was like, I got in a fight with my boyfriend at the time today. I need to make a Facebook post about it. But that's how I live my life, though. It's like I'm extracting things from everything because, if you're not kind of psychotic like that in the best way possible and you're not thinking like that and operating like that, it's like it's a performance. It's something you're showing up to do instead of something that is like who you are and how you operate, right? But
I think it depends. I mean, because I feel that same way, but
yeah.
but I think that there's some people who are like they don't really have a personal brand,
Mm,
and that they don't really root their authority from their personal brand and their
hmm.
experiences necessarily, but also,
Right.
yeah, like I know that for some people, and I've heard this from friends and I respect it, which is like I don't want to feel like if I do like relationship coaching or whatever, then that like makes me feel like this pressure in my relationship or some kind of way, which I feel like I don't really feel that, but
I feel like respectfully,
I mean, the,
that's self-imposed. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
but
who are these people? I must coach them. But like
I
that.
mean, teach their own, but that's not like
You're allowed to have your own preferences as it comes to relationships, business, how you do things, but there is a fine line where you have to like stay in alignment, right? Stay in alignment with
Mhm.
yourself, your vision, your business, your brand, however you're doing it, right? Otherwise, it's you start to create these subtle like distortions in the field, right? These subtle ways where you separate yourself and put up these walls, and then things don't flow as well, right? There's like a subtle disconnect, which is kind of, may I?
May you what? Sure, why not? Okay. I'm putting a
But
lot of faith in this woman right now. I don't know how I feel about that, but sure.
no, but Gianna shared with me, she's like, I want to talk about the breakup online, but she was honoring like her process and his process and all the things and which totally understand and get that. But she's like, it's making me feel a little like this subtle disconnect, and those things can sneak up on you, right? And you got to kind of
A little stifled.
yeah, you can start to get a little stifled. And I feel like my whole business is built on, and like I teach on this shit, right? Because it's not just like, here's an million business, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, I ran a program called Flow State, for example, where it's literally like accessing flow state where you're pulled, you're compelled, you're creative, you're inspired, you can't not, right? And within that context, it's like there is a energy and a relationship you have to prioritize and protect, you know, and be aware of, pay attention to the nuances and the lines and all the things. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, totally. And like in particular, like, I used to share like a lot of blow by blows, but
Hmm.
to me, yeah, like I feel like with my breakup, I wanted to like honestly there was just like a lot of layers for me to unpack to get like clarity around.
Hmm.
But also I just didn't want to like I just honestly wanted to respect my ex and like
Hmm.
how hard of a process it was for him too. And I didn't want to like just throw a bunch of shit out there where while I felt like he was still coming to terms with things, it just felt like insensitive. And at the end of the day, like I'm not going to share, I don't hide or hold back, but I do share like in my time. And I think that that's like
Yeah,
a healthy balance.
that's
But
fair. Yeah, I agree. You don't have to
yeah,
like, because sometimes if you share,
like feels exploitative to yourself. Yeah.
yeah, that can be really
I'm not an emotional prostitute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just hoeing yourself
Yeah.
out
Hoeing my emotions.
your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Helping me
which is a lot of the work that
navigate
she
through life.
does, right? Like, and we've been talking a lot about, her business and stuff since she's been here, and we like bounce off each other. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
yeah, and yeah, there's a very important thing that you share around relationship work about, something I say to my clients a lot is like prioritize and protect your energy, and like particularly in my like signature offer, which is like just how we fucking do things in my world. Yay life. If you know, you know. If you don't, you should. But I was like, I need to come up with like yay life commandments. That's what it feels like, but because something
Cult.
there's the whatever, the rumors are true. I'm a cult leader.
Cult. Commandments? What's next?
Well, I
White robes and Kool-Aid?
see. I was gonna do that at my first yay life retreat, and you just ruined it.
You ruined the surprise. Sorry. Oopsie.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like a joke of like, kind of like the things that we like the foundational things that we build upon are some important principles, right? And one of them like that I'm constantly saying is like prioritize and protect your energy, right? Because it's like, so important in life and business, right? Especially if you're doing business differently, like in an energetically coherent way. And, there's like a life business, like financial experience, life alignment, right? But something Gianna talks about with her work, which is what this got me thinking about it, is like that delicate dynamic of your energy as a feminine woman and just kind of like honoring that like in relationships when you're single, getting into relationships during relationships, and even in like the like separating phase as well. So I just feel like
Yeah.
you were navigating that well.
Yeah, thank you. I really
Hmm.
appreciate that. Because I mean, that's exactly, and I'm not going to share like every little detail, but like in general, it's like, I don't know, like for those of you that have like been following me for a long time, like, that I was in a relationship for a lot of my 20s and I was engaged. And I really went from like zero to grandma, as I like to say, just because like our childhood was so tumultuous and traumatic, that I just like was like, I want to figure out what a healthy relationship is. And I did. And I was like in that relationship and it was like beautiful. But it was like, even though I knew what a healthy, fundamental, foundational relationship was, I didn't know like my specific preferences yet. And as I like grew up while being in that relationship, I was like, oh, like I want this, this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like, and then after that, when I met my most recent ex, um, and we dated, it was like all the things that I had been wanting, that weren't in the relationship before that were there, but like it was like this end to like this end a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and just in the sense where it's like, but I did go into that relationship like very feminine, surrendered, and like open-minded, because before that, in like the relationship beforehand, I was like, I'm gonna be like a great mom, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna get like a house and like, live somewhere beautiful and like da 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 da. And I like did most of that, but I just like when it came like I got engaged, but like when it came to further progressing it, I was like my body just was like no. Um and yeah, and that was like a whole thing. We already unpacked that parasocially together a couple years ago, did we not? I don't remember.
Yeah, do you remember all the like drama and like blowback from that
Oh God.
online?
Y'all are weird.
And she,
Weirdos.
no, for those of
I'm
you,
honestly flattered. Give me more attention. Yeah.
for those of you who weren't, you like slay,
You
but
missed it.
or no, also for those of you who are supportive, because I'm like, did you guys fucking forget that Gianna would literally say like every other day when she was like manifest your soulmate, she would literally say every other fucking day, and I'm like, did you guys fall and hit your head and fucking forget this, you silly fucking gooses? She would say like it is not dependent on the relationship that I am in. Like it is not like I if this the day this relationship if I reach that point stops being aligned, I
Right.
will leave or vice versa, right? And I was like, it's like you guys fucking fell and hit your head and fucking forgot that shit.
No more monkeys jumping on the bed. I've been hanging out with my 2-year-old nephew too long.
Mhm.
One fell off and bonked his head and forgot everything that I ever taught. No.
Very interesting. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like a part of like the online thing,
Yeah,
right?
like
Like
the projections.
well, and also like one thing, like, and I've seen this happen to so many people in so many different ways. I've experienced it to my own degree, but it's like one thing that's subtly, you know, incorrect or taken out of context or even just fundamentally not fucking true and a lie and just completely fucking made up. Like it's just like, and then it just spirals. But you know,
Amen to that. I mean, and like what I will say about the most recent breakup is like I went into it, the relationship, and I was very much like, ooh, like all these pieces are here. And like we truly, and if he watches this, which he probably won't because he ghosted me, we'll get to that. Um, I don't know. It could go either way with his Scorpio moon ass, but well, with love, with love.
I'm not sure what's appropriate for me to say here, so I'm just gonna,
Let me lead and you can.
I'll just respond to you.
Okay.
But you guys know I'm very opinionated.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah, but I have no like animosity or anything like that. I love him. I will always love him, and I truly support him and wish him the best.
Slay.
Even if he doesn't respond to our Instagram comments. What? Who said that?
Everyone's except for hers.
Well, we'll get to that. I'm just, I'm kind of like just poking fun at it at this point, but like playfully, and I truly like it's. I'm good. We definitely had our tearful moments listening to the script. Thanks, TikTok.
Script. Oh, the song. Okay, I was
Yeah,
like,
the
okay.
band, the
I was like,
script.
what script?
Yeah, my manuscript. I just rubbed my lip gloss on the mic. So sorry about that, earbud people. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
I thought she was gonna do that. She does that shit all the time. Don't look at me like that.
It's true.
So this brings us to our next segment. Would you rather?
Would you rather shove a banana up? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyway, so basically, um, I went into my last relationship just like it was a lot of change really fast, just lifestyle wise. Um, But we had this like truly, and we always will, like had a just a fundamentally beautiful connection where we really understood each other, really saw each other, really supported each other. He did a lot for me, to be honest. And vice versa. And the polarity was there, right? Which was like my big thing about that relationship where it's like masculine, daddy, feminine.
You
Oh,
will like were really wanting that from your previous relationship because it was like you had a lot of stability and like safety and all these things
and independence and
and
sovereignty.
and he's a really good dude, right? But it's just like there was this masculine polarity that you really were craving. And
Yeah.
so like it was like capping your growth and expansion like energetically and in all areas of your life, right?
Hmm.
Because of like what Gianna teaches, which I agree and co-sign, is like, like the impact of relationships, especially on a woman. Um,
Your life at large as a result, your
and you're like,
business, your kid,
100%, like like your energy, your energy affects
your
everything.
health, your physical health, your mental health. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like so and one thing I want to say before I continue is like I don't view a successful relationship in a way where it's like it has to last forever because like
Mm-hmm.
relationships are truly like mirrors to the soul. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the way that you grow and figure out what you need in a relationship is not by reading a bunch of books. It's about like having experiences. And like the reality is like I've had two serious relationships and I'm 30 years old. Okay. We're doing pretty good. Okay. And yeah, and I just absolutely refuse to get married or have children until I feel like the full body yes. And I just didn't feel that with the last two people. And in the last relationship, it's like I just went into it super open-minded and I was like, ooh, like sex and masculine energy and like these things that I do value and that were important, but it was almost like and I got really explorative around like my needs and maybe like my future. I wanted a different future than I thought I did. And I was like, maybe I don't want kids. Maybe um, I'll live this like different lifestyle than I thought. And I really like tried on certain things like through him. But then just like over time and like I what I really wanted for us in our relationship was for us to kind of like intermingle into me evolving in certain ways and him evolving in certain ways that were ultimately allowed us to be a really good fit over time together still, but also like it would be like a win-win where we would both like individually grow in these certain ways. And like I feel like I did through that relationship in certain ways and vice versa. But in general, like I just really started to feel long term, like our values and lifestyles were just a bit too different. And like, I'm a self-care psycho, as I like to say. Like self-care is such a huge thing for me. And like I could be in the sixth dimension of hell and I would still be going for a run and making money and glowing ish. But in general, it's like, you know, it was just starting to feel like not right for me. Um, for a couple of reasons, like just lifestyle, like scheduling stuff. Like I think I really value a lot of like holistic things and like health and like mental health. And I also like to get plenty of rest and just like take care of myself. And we just lived differently in different lifestyles. And I just feel like he was so ingrained in a different kind of lifestyle that worked for his setup. And I just think that he had already built so much of his life on that, that I'm like more power to him and that's great. But it just started to feel like it just wasn't fitting me until like I was living with him in Chicago. Um and like I didn't really have a support system in that area outside of him. And so again, like in the sixth dimension of hell, not that that's what that was. I loved Chicago in a lot of ways and that relationship in a lot of ways. But yeah, like in the sixth dimension of hell, I'm still going to be going for runs and like making money and all that. But it was like I was craving growth, but I felt so isolated. And it's like I would visit my sister, which you can't do all the time. And it's like I would miss my ex and I would miss like where I lived and stuff, but it was like I just felt so much better being here that I almost like didn't want to leave. And it's not because I wanted to be here necessarily. Like I don't know if Denver's like it for me long term, we'll see. But it was just like the environment and like being around my sister and like, you know, like for example, like I also value like relationships and family and like whereas like, and teach their own. Whereas my ex is like just a pretty isolated person. And I would like it's like when your lifestyles are just too different in order to connect with someone, it's like you have to change your lifestyle. And like I was open-minded to it and I was like, oh, maybe like, but I was like, ooh, this actually feels like shit.
Hmm.
This feels like shit to be like isolated and like to not be like seeing family, to um not be like connected to other people. And it's like, and he was amazing. He was an amazing partner in so many ways, but that's not enough. And also too, it's like our schedules were just so different that it was just like, yeah, and I think that, and this was, I work with like a coach and a therapist and around it and like unpacking and exploring like my boundaries and my needs and all of those things. And something that a coach that I worked through, that I do like relationship work with periodically, she's like coached me through like my last two breakups and also like she coached me like as I was entering my past relationship and just like give like whole, like being my sounding board. And something that she said that stayed with me, she was like, it just sounds like it stopped making sense to invest into that union. And I was like, exactly. That just like feels so correct. And she used this metaphor with me. She was like, I know you eat, I'm not sure if you're still like a plant-based person, which I am, except I've been getting into fish. um but anyways, and she was like, that'd be like if you were like a hardcore vegan, like dating a carnivore, and it's like you would just have to see like this bloody meat in your fridge every day. And that would just like feel like terrible to you. And I was like, yeah. Like there was just like certain lifestyle things that just, and in general, like I think why I was so open to the idea of like not having kids is like as I saw this different way, this different version of life available. And I felt as though I didn't like really need to have kids. And I would be okay without having them. And even though I'm a very nurturing person on some level, but I really liked like the freedom that I was feeling and the selfishness, like the healthy selfishness and just being able to pour into my work. And I was like, I can honor this nurturing instinct through like my nephew and like through community and like um being a part of other people's villages with kids and like not everybody has to like have a kid or have kids, right? And I was like, okay, like I'm open to like I don't think I need kids. And I still kind of feel like I don't. But I was like, okay, if I'm not gonna have that on top of every yeah, like then I feel like the relationship and my life have to feel really good. And I just feel like it wasn't feeling like that. And then at the like towards the end of the relationship, I was like, yeah, like we had talked about like moving to LA and we were going to, and then like, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna delay it. And then as soon as that was delayed, and then we had had this like conversation, I just felt like I just felt like this deep, like something that like I just knew that the relationship needed to end. And like
Like it was time.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it just, I was like, okay, I can't sign another lease with you. I'm sorry. Um, and yeah, it was just like a combination of things and a lot of them lifestyle, to be honest with you. Nothing, yeah, just and it's like that's so like anticlimactic. Like it sounds like so anticlimactic, but and it's like so, and it's honestly sad because it's like to me, like partially because it's like because our like innate connection was so beautiful and like deep, but that doesn't mean that because you have a good connection that you should give up everything that you need in order to make that work. And throughout the relationship, like I work with coaches, therapists, and psychics. And something that a psychic said to me was, she was like, in this relationship, your career is going to be capped. Like you'll still be great, you'll still be like successful, but you're you're not going to achieve everything that your soul came here to achieve if you're in that relationship. And it made perfect sense to me because I just felt like I as I was like meeting him where he was at and he was like meeting me a bit as well, I just felt like we were both so much overextending ourselves to try to connect because what we had built individually was built just on different lifestyles and different habits and like different needs. And I just don't think that that was fair to either of us. And I just got to a point where I don't know, like I'm really protective of my energy. And I was like, I'm gonna give this a good old college try.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, this feels like shit. This isn't gonna work. And
And now you know.
yeah, and now I know. And like I feel like I'm at this point where I finally like know what I actually need and want, although I'm not looking for a relationship anytime soon. Um, maybe I'll have a few dudes that help me put together my furniture and take me to dinner.
For funsies.
For funsies and not like mislead anyone either. But
Clear communication.
yeah. And yeah, and I've been exploring a lot of thoughts around like casual sex and which I don't think I can do it, but anyways, we'll come back to that another time, I think. But
As it progresses.
as it progresses. But for now, I got a lot of free sex toys in my last relationship, so we're good for a little while. But one thing I did want to say is that just to clear up like the fucking ghosting thing. So, I think like as we separated, I think like I knew it was just like hard for us both to accept. Even though like I initiated the breakup, the split. And I think that and it had been a conversation that we had kicked around with like our needs and stuff and I was just like here's what I feel like I need, but then like it wouldn't really nothing really would change. And I don't really think that anything should have changed because I think that we both just needed different things. And yeah, and then I just think that it was hard for both of us to accept. And then um after I'd been here for a little while, we stayed in touch but it was hard. Like it was just hard for both of us to like stay in contact because it's like we love each other, and it's like how do we connect without loving each other?
And
Um
also, I think it was kind of like trying to navigate this line of like, are we trying to get back together? Are we separating? And if we are, how do we do that?
yeah,
Mm.
and I think it was confusing, like especially for him. Um and I think that like I I wasn't really confused and I was clear, but I was kind of holding space for his confusion and kind of like maybe hoping like on some level that he would be like, here's some drastic solution or change where you're going to be able to like get what you need and we can still be together. And I just like, it just took me a little time to just like accept that that wasn't gonna happen. And like, you know, and that's fine. And that's just life, honestly. Like sometimes that's just fucking life. And, and one thing that I appreciated about my ex that was can be a double-edged sword is he was a very, if you know anything about astrology, Scorpio moon man, okay? Um, Cancer sun, Leo rising, Scorpio moon. So that is a look at Jenna's like, can we get a body language reader on in here? She doesn't like dating people like that. But yeah,
I just don't like men that are too emotional.
that, that's I
I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying too much water, your girl's out.
she loves her air sign and her earth sign stuff.
Earth sign. I'm married to a fire sign.
But isn't he a Virgo Venus? That's an
Yeah,
earth sign.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
sorry, misunderstood. But yeah, I like fire and air usually. But I'm also fire and air. I like
Yeah.
it. Fan my flames.
I know, but like something that I've really explored is typically I'm like, I like a good, like, I've dated a lot of Cancer sun men, and I've also, yeah, I don't think I could do a Pisces moon again.
Oh my God. Like I'm sorry if I'm gonna hurt anyone's feelings, but
All due
that's
respect, just
the
not for me.
worst dating experience I ever had was dating a Pisces man.
Yeah, he sucked. No offense.
Awful.
Wasn't necessarily about the astrology,
It was just
maybe
yeah,
clitoral.
yeah, I mean, I had just gotten he was like my first relationship after leaving like a controlling abusive relationship where I was like working out my kinks of like our upbringing, and like getting that out of my system. psychologically,
Yeah.
like energetically, right? And
Hmm.
then I met him, and I just remember like I was in such a distortion field around it because I had this idea of him that I created
Cognitive
like
dissonance.
right away. And I was like, why is he being like this? This is not who he is. And so I was like, I don't think I have actually ever liked them. This is so fucked up. And which is a terrible thing to say. And I felt like a terrible
And
person.
you're allowed to not like him.
I know,
That's
but I was like, I was like, I actually don't think I like this person as a like as a man. Like I don't respect them. I don't think they're a good person. And like,
I mean,
I,
I didn't like him.
yeah.
I was nice to him, but I didn't like him.
But I just like kept trying to work towards and bless like young Genevieve, but it's like I just tried to work towards this idea I had in my head and then I kept not working and I realized I was like, oh, I just don't like this person. Um, yeah, it was very nice to realize that and walk away from that. But there was a um mm, yeah, it was just a realization
Pisces men.
it was just a realization I had to come to, but yeah.
But some people are like, everybody likes different things. And like when I say it's okay to not like people, that doesn't mean that you like hate their guts or think that
Mhm.
they suck. You're just like, okay, like that's them and that's going to be great for someone, maybe. Depends, like, unless you're just an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this also goes into relationships too. Like if you're someone who's younger, for example, and you're listening to this, I think there's a lot more resources available than, maybe like even a decade ago, especially
Yeah.
like online, right? But, to really yield your discernment, and especially as a woman, otherwise it's so easy to get wrapped up in other people's shit. And, it's
And
easy
before
to,
you know it, you had 6 kids with them and you're married and you have a mortgage and you're stuck. Don't do that.
yeah, I mean, that things can escalate quickly.
Yeah.
So,
Do
beware.
that.
Just kidding. No, be careful out there, lady. But yeah, no, seriously, not forever. You have to talk at this man for the rest of your fucking life. Yeah, no, but I think yeah, there was a realization that I came to where I was just like, I want a man.
You want
Like I was like, I want to be with a fucking man, right? Like a man that's like
and everybody has their shit, but
totally, totally. Yeah, I mean, everyone does. I do. Kevin does. Like everyone does, right?
I don't.
Yeah, except for Gianna. Gianna is perfect. But I mean, we have our stuff, and Kevin and I have navigated stuff over the years. And fuck, I even shared a couple months ago. We went through like a relationship up level, and I was like, I was like, I thought about divorcing him, like And you have these moments where it's just like, um, you're initiated into growth, like any long-term relationship, and especially when you have kids, right? And you're married, it's like you both have to keep choosing each other, and you both have to be
Actively co-create the
like actively
relationship. Yeah.
co-create the relationship, but it's like there has to be this fundamental compatibility, desire, and vision that is
Yeah,
cohesive.
this the shared vision.
Otherwise, it's like otherwise shit can get lopsided, right? And I feel like Kevin and I have had a couple moments throughout our relationship where it's like, are we on the same page here, right? And every time I felt like we weren't, that's when I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, right?
Did I go? Did
Yeah,
I go?
yeah, but it was like it was always, and bless Kevin, he's so sweet. Like, like he's Kevin has fought for me like the whole time. Like anytime I was like
He
suddenly
has.
he
He
has.
has.
He has such
Yeah.
a great heart. But he's always like the man. Like if we ever like if there are moments where I was like, I don't want him, and he's like always the person who's just like a fucking man, right? Where
He
he's
like
like,
he like comes in like because like me and Kevin even had this conversation like last weekend while Jenna was out and he was like talking to me about Genevieve and he was like I love her, this is what I want for us, and he was like, what do you think I can do, like is there anything that you think I can do to like just like continue to build with Genevieve, like and I was like, oh.
yeah, but like even like something that like makes my panties wet to just think about it. But
Ew.
it's like, but like literally since the very beginning of our entire relationship, Kevin has always been the man who, anytime we've had like, like some kind of just lack of cohesiveness between us, he's always like, "What is this? Like, let's fix this. Let's address this." Like at one point in time, he was like, "I don't ever want to go to sleep like with us not okay," you know?
And I feel like he's very patient, like he's very patient with
Oh,
you.
he is. Like there's some moments where I'm just like, I just need to lean into this. And yeah, but
Okay.
it turns him on a little bit.
he okay,
Like
so
you're crazy. I love it.
yeah. I mean, honestly, hold on, let me check those. Okay, so I think that's what that means. Okay, I just want to make sure we're good. But I mean, honestly, like men need to be kept on their toes a little bit, and it's not in a manipulative way, but it's like it's just in a like you have your own sense of self um and like you're not afraid to want what you want, like what you like. And I believe in feminine communication. But as a result, like that's naturally going to keep them on their toes when you're not like a self-abandoning like person, right?
Totally.
But what I want to say, get back to the ghosting thing. So, you know,
Yeah, because we
we
spiraled from like Scorpio moon to yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
so
you called out my face. Sounds like
yeah. But so in general, like I always appreciate like a little bit of intensity in a man, but like not in a icky, toxic way. But and I feel like my ex was very good about like being really chill and like calm in certain ways, but then like intense with like romance and things, for the most part. And then yeah, and so I feel like and like, you know, Scorpio moon people I feel like are people who don't love easily, but when they do love, it's very intense, which I was like, yes, please. And
Manifest with me. Love me
yeah,
deeply and dearly.
yeah. And
Leo Venus.
yeah, yeah, Leo Venus, hello. And yeah, as a result, it's like I feel like so, you know, it just kind of got to the point where I feel like it was just starting to get like painful. And I was kind of like in the place where I was like, if you need space, like let me know. And I was just kind of like, we weren't like talking as much. But and then our communication like picked back up because I feel like he like missed me, honestly, and like said that. And then, but at the same time, it was like, I feel like that felt really hard. I felt like it felt really hard to miss each other, and I felt like it was really hard for him to miss me, to be honest. And then we had like we had a few like loving like conversations, but it didn't change anything about our relationship, right? And then there was like one where that was like a little crunchy, um, on his end, but a little bit both. And then, yeah, and then I just never heard from him again. So,
Mhm.
you know, but I just honestly, I understand just because I just think that that's what he needed to do. Like, I just think that Hey,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay?
I mean, that's not like I'm not that kind of person. Like I like in that way, like I don't, you know, if to me, I will let somebody know that I don't like want to talk to them or whatever. But I just think that for some people, it's like they just like they're not the kind of people who can like be like, okay, I love you and like I wish you the best and like I support you. Like I still want to be a part of your life in some capacity. Like I feel like that's kind of how I am, but I just feel like there's some people who are like, what do you mean? Like you want to be friends? Like I saw you as my wife, my husband, and like da 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 da. And like it's just more like intense.
Scorpio Venus shit, I assume.
Scorpio moon.
Scorpio
He
moon.
was a Leo Venus.
Oh, he's a Leo Venus. Sorry, Scorpio moon.
Yeah, but I feel like Scorpio Venuses can be the same way.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know, like at the end of the day, like I just want to be very clear that I don't at first, like I was like, what? Hello? You know? And just like processing my feelings, 'cause it was just unexpected. But on another level, I'm like, I get it, you know, and I kind of think that it was like for the best in a way. So it just wasn't drug out any further. And also, like, I just think that that's what he needed to do. Like, I just think that that's where he's at, and that's what he needed to do. He just needed to be like, I'm ignoring you
It
from now
is. It
on.
is what it is.
It is what it is. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's one way to go about it, I suppose. And that's all, folks. Like it's like a little anticlimactic, but at the same time, like it's fine, you know?
Just needed a little bit of drama.
Yeah. Um, no, I mean, I feel like I'm having like a little bit of a hard time articulating it, but I don't know, like I just feel like at the end of the day, like I get it. It's fine. You know, it's not what I would have done, but like I feel like that's not bad either. It's just like different. You know, like some people are just like, I don't want you in my life anymore, and or I just it's just not right. Like we just need to um yeah. Anyways, grab the mic because I feel like I'm like heavy. I don't know. I feel like I have like three thoughts and I'm like trying to say it at the same time, but I don't know. Just at the end of the day, I don't know. Like I've just like I've processed a lot around it, and like you know, part of me was like, at first there was like an initial like, dude, fuck you, you know, like, and then part of me was like, I'm sad. And then I was just like, okay, like I'm just gonna be with my feelings. I'm gonna process my layers here. And then I was like, oh, you're just somebody that likes you. That's a choice.
It's a little discardy, but whatever.
I mean,
Sorry. That's all I'll say.
I mean, yes, technically, but I don't know. I just feel like I get it. I get
Yeah, it's fine. You can get it. I won't, but you can.
it.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know. I just understand that like it was intense. I just think that
mhm,
it was intense and it felt really hard. Um, and I just
it's
think that it
fine.
felt easier to do it that way. And that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like, okay, so here, welcome to the podcast. So for me, I'm just like and I'm not gonna, but it's like,
I got exactly what you just said.
yeah. So for me, I'm very much let's call a potato a potato. Let's because I just feel like there's power in clarity, and I feel like there's power like with how things are and your version of them, whatever. And I understand Gianna's so good at like being compassionate. I am as well, right? But I also am very good at other things.
Yeah, I like our
Yeah, I had to. We'll call back to earlier, but this mic, anyways, I'm not used to having these shapes of things. Okay, anyways, what? It
you're
just
not used to having those shapes in your face. Is
and
Kevin okay?
and you didn't let me finish. And just
Not that I hope you're
doing
fine.
nothing with it. I just yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But sorry, I just had to. Okay. But yeah, there's power and clarity is my point.
Mhm.
Blowjobs aside. And the like being clear removes like the fog, right? Where it's like things can linger and feel unresolved and unclear. And sometimes I think people can jump to like, I need to label something or put it in this box in order to move on, and they can do so inaccurately or inappropriately in order to avoid creating awareness or taking ownership of something, right? Like that can happen. Just like with something you were saying earlier before the ghosting thing. Um, Whatever. If it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's like there's power and clarity. And even like when it comes to like making more money, for example, I always love telling the story. In 2020, I decided like I had been wanting to buy a house. And you know that like if you get this process, you get it. If you don't, you don't. If you don't, you should come learn it from me. If you need to refine it, hello. You know where to find me, hopefully. Um, but there was this moment where I was like reaching for more in my growth and expansion because I knew what I was capable of, right? And I kept feeling the subtle resistance within myself. And there was something actually really empowering about me just getting clear on what I needed for what I wanted at that time, right? And it was like a stepping stone. And it allowed me to feel empowered and to open up to more. And I'll give you a very specific example. I decided, I finally, like, I had been wanting to buy another house. And it was like, I couldn't get behind it because it was very clear, very specific types of things, like a brand new house, never lived in this very particular area of town, which is very, very small. Um, a walk-in shower with a mountain view from the shower. It's just like very little things. And I was like, but I feel this, like I really want these specific things, right? Um, Brand new appliances, like certain flooring, like all these things. And I was just like, whatever. Like, and so I wouldn't let myself lock it into my body because it just felt like I couldn't get behind it yet. And then I had this experience one day where it just clicked and I was like, I'm ready. And I felt it land in my body and I literally was looking online and I found the house that night, you know? And so there's something about not rushing things, that there's something about divine timing kind of, right? But also, maybe if I were to have gotten behind it sooner, something else would have been available because we're all co-creating, right? Um, and something else would have been amazing and available as well. But it's like I found the house and like literally within 48 hours of me being like, okay, I'm ready for that house, I was under contract with a house. 48 hours prior to that, I had not even known that I was going to have a house in 48 hours. Okay. Like that's how fast life can happen when you
Yeah.
get clear, the power of clarity, getting clear and connected and dialed in and deciding. Right. But it's like, I think sometimes we can't get behind things and therefore move forward, whether it's relationship, business, whatever, until that clarity lands. And there are moments where we need that clarity to really solidify so that we can lock in and get behind it. And so, with this story, what I did earlier that day was like I was reaching for this particular milestone and level in my business, and it was feeling a little awkward. And there was some part of me that was just not feeling comfortable where I was in terms of like I was feeling subtly like it was subtly not enough. And then I just like was like, this is so fucking amazing and incredible. What the fuck? Like slap me upside the head, slap myself upside the head, right? Celebrated the fuck out of it. And then I was like, let me just get clear on what I actually want and need to feel comfortable to be in a position within myself where I can buy this house and I can, have the money for the deposit and like still have X amount in the bank because that's my standard, like all these things, all these things, all these things. And I was like, this is really fucking doable, actually. I feel really clear and empowered by this, right? And I was going for 6-figure months in my business at the time, had not done it yet. And then within a year, I was hitting 6-figure months in my business. And it was just like that moment in time was very empowering for me because I needed that moment to get clear and to lock in with what I actually wanted and needed in that time so I could create that progression, right?
Okay, I
And
love all of this, but what does this have to do with like the relationship?
well, no, it's
Okay,
it's all
okay.
of it.
I'm just
Gianna fucking V.
sorry. I didn't mean it in like a rude way. I just
So
wanted like to cohesify because I was wanting to understand more.
no, no, no. So the whole point is like this applies to relationships and money. And that was very
Mhm.
rude, Gianna V.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it in a
But
rude way. I apologize. It came off rude, but
like
I
I,
didn't mean
I just listened to you rant on your relationship for like 30 minutes.
it. Oh my God, guys, we're fighting on our first episode. Anyways,
So,
continue.
anyways, so
Just gonna let that one roll off.
but my point is with this is like, with how she was kind of wrapping things up and speaking about her last relationship, it's like she like that being clear on how things were, what they were, and what they actually were for her versus this skewed perception of overly giving other people the benefit of the doubt. It's like that can exist there too, but it's like, and the actual truth of your experience is this, right? And we have compassion and understanding and sympathy for other people and their experience, and they can do what they do and do what they need to do, right? But it's like, I feel like if we unconsciously co-sign other people's experiences that don't feel true for us, then it creates a distortion within ourselves where we can't move forward fully because there's not a fully processed experience where we are good with us. And when we get good with us, we can move forward. And so there was an example of this that I just applied to, like money and business and whatever to buy a house because I wanted to buy a house. And when I got behind what I actually wanted at the time, which was to buy a house, I could get clear on my financial experience, where I was actually at, what I actually wanted, instead of it just feeling like this lingering thing that I feel like I can either have or not. There was actual like clear tangibility around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I could move forward and the energy began flowing and then progress was made within 48 fucking hours because that's the power of clarity.
Yeah, I mean, amen. And like one thing that I will say, I love all that and I agree. And I just like I think for me, like taking it back to breakup ghosting situation, is that I that would like again like wouldn't be something that I would personally do, unless I like felt like unsafe in some way or if just some, I don't know.
You
But
wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't, but I do feel compassion and understanding for how hard it's been. And so on another level, I can understand if that was the path of least resistance. And I still feel nothing but love and support. And,
It doesn't like, and I also,
and it doesn't, I don't,
sorry.
and in general, like our relationship was really beautiful and
Mhm.
like, and loving. And he was incredibly supportive to me in so many ways. And so, I don't think that that like negates any of that.
I agree.
Even though, you know. But but what a way to finish our Saturn return, you know?
I know.
You're
Like
like,
I lost my water bottle, my phone, nothing was safe.
oh yeah, big losses. But so if you guys know about like astrology, right? Like Saturn return happens like usually like 2 times in your lifetime, three if you're ancient, which love that for you. Um what a privilege it is to age, right? But it's like your
I
first
don't
Saturn
say aging, by the way, and I've said this to a client literally yesterday. I was like, as we move through time, getting hotter and wiser.
I agree. I mean,
Mhm.
aging isn't a bad thing. Being ancient isn't a bad thing.
No, totally. But it's like there's so many, just like when you opt into like motherhood because you reproduce, right? It's like there's paradigms and like energy fields and like threads.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, there's all these things you
Patriarchy.
opt into, but it's like, I don't know, your life can be whatever the fuck you want.
Right, right. But what I was gonna say is that like if you don't know, we're gonna do a Cliff Note version of what Saturn return is. So basically it's like it's your first Saturn return is your initiation into adulthood. And so it's like Saturn, like daddy Saturn, like comes into your life and it's like about a 2.5 year transit. And a lot of people like freak the fuck out about it because a lot of stuff, and it depends on where Saturn is in your chart, what sign it is. I also recorded an episode about the Saturn return with my astrologer friend Brittany, which I've not released because I talked about my breakup in it and I just was waiting to have that all be settled. Same thing with like 2 other podcast episodes, so those will be coming, don't you worry, on like my individual podcast. But yeah, and so it's like ours, Saturn in Pisces, and I just feel like ours is officially coming to an end on Valentine's Day, and it's been like 2.5 years of just
Just
like
kind of iconic
I
to me.
know, but it's like it's been such a like a cleaning house thing, and I just feel
Totally.
like one of the purposes of my Saturn return was to be like this relationship wasn't supposed to be long term. And I kind of like knew it on some level, but I think that I was just being so open to like up to evolving that I was like, and this was some yeah, that I just like wanted to unfold or was open to it getting there. And like my Saturn return was like, no,
Hmm.
it's not going to get there. It's not supposed to get there.
And during my Saturn return, I had drama around childcare. That was one of the things that was like,
Yeah. And like, and we also had stuff with our dad. Like our dad is, we've been,
and let's not share too much about dad, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But our dad like struggles with addiction stuff.
Mhm.
And there was just a lot of stuff that's come up with that for him.
He's been having a hard time,
Yeah.
which I don't know. You have like multiple Saturn returns, right?
Well,
Usually,
you,
depending on how long you live.
yeah, like so the second one is like 50. So me and mom were looking at his chart the other day.
Yeah.
He's, I think, Saturn in Taurus. So he's the one after Aries.
Mm,
So is mom.
mm, mm.
Yeah, but some like like 27 Club. That's like maybe like nodal return vibes, but like a lot of people will have a lot of just transformation in their Saturn returns. But like Saturn is here to help you clean house, and it also rewards it's like a maturing planet. It rewards discipline and hard work and consistency. And I will say, since I walked away from my last relationship, I feel like even though it was hard, I knew that it was right, and I feel like a lot of things have just been clicking like in my work and like just I just feel
And with
really
like your bigger vision, I feel like it helps that
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Hmm.
And like so I know that like the next relationship I get into, which I don't know, I'm not in my relationship era. Like I
You're in
don't
your Uncle Jesse
I'm
era.
in my Uncle Jesse era.
Full House reference.
Yep, I'm in my era, like a little bit of folklore era, Taylor Swift. Like I'm in the mountains now. It's cold. Maybe I write a little
It's not
dark
cold. It's like
poetry.
60 degrees outside.
It's winter. It'll get cold, but
There's been a couple cold days
and
here or there.
like I've been like thinking about my era, and then I'm also like, this is also like the vibe of the Vampire Diaries, where the seasons where Elena gets killed off, and then it just becomes about the Salvatore brothers.
Because it was never about Elena.
It was never about Elena.
She was the segue into the Salvatore brothers.
Yeah.
You know, me and Gianna used to say, which I wanted to tell you guys this.
I'm scared. But go on.
When we were kids, we would say that we would live in a giant mansion and one of us would live on the east wing and the other one would live on the west wing with our families and our husbands, but we would always live together. And
I'm open to that. Might be a little too enmeshed for me these days, but
no, I totally agree. But it's
glad
like
we're on the same page. It's just like we're 15 again. Except we're not kicking each other under the table this time.
Yeah, we had regulation issues at that point.
Our brains weren't even developed yet. It's fine.
We were dealing with a lot of fucking
Yeah, we had like
shit.
we definitely had PTSD at the time.
Oh yeah, totally. But
East wing, west wing.
yeah, so yeah, I just like one of my Saturn return things was like I miss my fucking sisters. And I was like, I want Gianna to move here. And there was a point, and you can go look at this. I documented this on Facebook or yeah, and Instagram, I think, but definitely at least Facebook. The last time she visited, I said, I'm manifesting you moving here.
Mm. Did you have to put my relationships into flames to do that, or was that you?
Not on purpose.
Just kidding.
I'm just kidding. But no, I did not. I was, I was like, whatever needs to happen, whatever's meant to happen, I'm just kidding. But not, actually, I'm not. I just said that to lighten the blow and soften things, but I'm just being completely honest and I'm like, I got to be careful with where I point this thing because yeah, now she's moved in with us because I live in this big house and The downstairs is
It's like
like
a no, its own unit,
it's like
basically.
it's kind of like a an apartment. It's like a it has a kitchen and like a bedroom and a bathroom
A living
and a
room.
living room and whatever. But yeah, she lives down there now. So she has like her own space, but then we also like get to and she helps with Sebastian and which is so nice because I was like, oh, I want like my family to have more of a relationship with Sebastian, like, you know, the stable ones. And then yeah, so now she's here and it's
Auntie Nana.
yeah, she's Auntie Nana. So I just gotta get my other sister out here and then I'll feel complete.
It's Jenna's world. We're just living in it. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, and then but it just worked out perfectly. Like and with the Saturn return thing, but I also feel like this is a big life thing, but Saturn just does not let you off the hook at all.
Yeah.
Like it's like come here.
Which I love. Like, thank you. Thank you,
Exactly.
Daddy.
So it's like
The real
any
daddy.
little part of like, and I noticed this too, where it's like any little part of like that subtle avoidance or that subtle place where you're not addressing it or cleaning it up fully or bringing it into total alignment. It's like you're going to experience conflict in that. And I did with my childcare because it just stopped. It wasn't feeling good for a while.
Wasn't the
Uh,
right fit anymore.
it
Yeah.
wasn't the right fit anymore, and I was feeling really stifled by it. And then I was like, but I want family around because before I became a mom, I just always, I remember working at Arby's when I was 16. I did for like a couple months before I quit because I was
Your
like,
boss was an abuser, psycho.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, fuck this fucking place. Fuck you, Arby's.
Yeah. We will never be sponsored by Arby's in the future because of what was your boss's name? Do you remember?
I don't know. I feel like it was like Greg or something.
Or was it like, I feel like it was like Jeff or
Jeff. Yes,
was it?
Jeff.
Oh
But
my,
I think he spelled it with a G, maybe. I don't fucking remember. Anyways, fuck you, Jeff. Fuck you, Jeff. Just
yeah, abusing 16-year-olds at an Arby's. Get a life.
yeah, so anyways, the when I was working at Arby's, I remember like families would come in and they would just like go eat together. And I was like, oh, I wish I had a fucking family that did shit like this, like that did family things, right? And I really craved that growing up. And I was like, when I'm older, I'm gonna have a really, strong family system and like have that for my kids, right? And I provide that as well, and so does Kevin. But it's like I just want a lot of people around. And we leaned on Kevin and his parents a lot for that like sense of family, and they're amazing. But then there was just some misalignments and like certain things that just caused a lot of tension. And if you know me and you're also if you also are a mother, you get this where it's like you're unwilling to compromise for your fucking kids, and it's like absolutely the fuck not,
Yeah.
right? And so even just like these little things, and I'm like, I know how I desire to raise my child and how I desire him to feel and like how we meet his needs and his developmental phases and all these things. And so it just, again, they were great and so helpful and like so grateful for them. And we have a good relationship. Like things ended on good terms, but it was just like, I was afraid, like I didn't deal with it as soon as I could have because I was afraid of like losing that family. Right. And just like that inner like child in me was just afraid of being like brokenhearted and then that being a thing for Sebastian. And I was just like alignment over everything. Like I have to trust what is aligned, what is aligned, what is aligned. And things have come together. Gianna moved here, right? We found a fabulous
Which is a win-win, truly.
yeah,
I
truly.
joke when I say, like, did you have to? Like that's what needed to happen.
But we also found a fabulous nanny. If you're considering a nanny as a mother, 11 out of 10 recommend. Yes, a nanny, an aligned nanny. Oh, so amazing. But yeah, and this is just the beginning, and I feel very, very excited about this phase of life. So,
Yeah, I mean, all the alignment, like,
and then
and sometimes you have to like let shit go that's not in alignment, even if it's like
mhm,
hard or challenging in a certain kind of way. But like in your body, like deeper down, you're like, like it just feels right.
totally. And she said Saturn return is like 2.5 years sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's about give or take.
So there was some kind of like shadowing of it. I don't know. She
Shadow period.
like like going into it or whatever. That's when I was pregnant. That's when I became like a mom and went through all that. Like that's a
Hmm.
really big like becoming a mother is like it's
A
insane.
huge
It's
initiation.
like
Yeah.
initiation, identity shift, life change. I fucking love it. It's like amazing. But yeah, it was like whoa, because Sebastian was a
Hmm.
happy surprise. But I didn't even know I was pregnant until like I got through the first trimester because, negative pregnancy tests. It was like Sebastian
He
was
hit
so
himself
destined. Like if some part of me was like, I'm a teenager, like I'm like, no,
to the clinic.
yeah, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was like, you know, um, and we had just moved to Denver and it was just like we had no family around and I was like, what the fuck? Just the timing was crazy, but then it was just like, yeah, no, like let's and me and Kevin were like, let's fucking do this, right?
But do you remember, okay, like literally when you had just gotten pregnant with him and you didn't know you were pregnant yet,
Hmm.
and I was visiting
Hmm.
and I took some mushrooms
which is why didn't I take the mushrooms? It's like some part of me knew, but because I was just like, I don't want to take the mushrooms.
But I took the mushrooms and I like,
Why wouldn't I take the mushrooms?
I,
Well, I would have taken the mushroom. Why didn't I take the mushrooms?
I,
I was pregnant. Some part of me was just like, no, I don't feel like taking mushrooms. Anyways,
I wonder if that would have impacted anything, but,
really doing mushrooms when you're pregnant, I don't think
I
is
mean,
a thing.
like really early. I mean, I feel like some people like drink very early in their pregnancy before they know that they're pregnant.
Yeah, but that's not.
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I was just more of a
Well, I've
curiosity.
done a lot of research on it and talked to many doctors and things like that.
Fair enough. Okay.
Not recommended.
But so I've only done mushrooms a handful of times, and whenever I've done them, it's been like from a spiritual like place where I'm like, okay, like help me do some purging or like, show me things, right? But like that time that I did some while visiting, I was like jumping. I mean, this is all hypothetical. I forget what the laws are here, but hypothetically, I did them once here somewhere. And I was like jumping in and out of time hypothetically, and I was like, I'm in the future, I'm in the past, I'm in the future, I'm in the past. And I could like
Literally, she was literally standing in my kitchen, jumping from left to the center to the right. She was like, I'm here, I'm in the past, I'm here, I'm in the future.
but it's like I could literally feel it. And in the future, I saw myself as like, at one point I was like in my maybe like early 60s, and I had this nephew that I loved so much and was very close with. And he was like all grown up and stuff, and he was super cute. And I told Jenna about it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And she was pregnant with my nephew. And now I am here, living here, and I'm like pretty much like a third parent. Not really, not fully, but like I do get up with him sometimes in the morning. I change his stinky ass, his cute little
On
butt.
his diaper backwards a couple times.
One time. That was once.
At least twice.
No, I almost did it again and I caught it and I switched it.
Fair enough.
I've given him baths and I babysit and I cook it for him. And yeah, so like I'm not saying,
No, it's great.
I'm a very supportive auntie is what
Well,
I would say.
I 11 out of 10 recommend. Like it's like having like that community.
It takes a village. It takes a
does,
village.
you know? And
But
it's like if you don't have that, like as a mom, you can accidentally take on so much. And obviously when you're the mom, you're taking on a lot, right? But it's like, and even delightfully so, we enthusiastically participate in our lives. But it's like, being mindful of just like allowing yourself to have a spacious, supportive life. And obviously, seasons and variations and variables, and everyone's different. Everyone's lives are different, support systems, finances, other things. But it's like, you get to live a really good fucking life and you're not forgotten about because you're a mom. And just like stepping into motherhood and then meeting all these other moms, and a lot of my clients are moms. Like, yeah, like
yeah.
being a well paid, well supported, well fucked mother is more important than almost anything.
Yeah, I heard her say something to Kevin the other day, her husband. I was like walking up from the basement, my garden unit, if you will, into the upstairs unit, and I was like, I just like heard Jenna like whisper something to Kevin, like, if we don't go outside soon a little bit, like I am going to rape you. She said something like that, and I was like, oh, I guess it's true what they say. There's no consent in marriage, huh? It was all in.
For the record,
She would never,
I would
obviously,
never.
but it was a joke.
It's a joke because Kevin talks about when I got pregnant, like I just turned into this feral demon, and he's
Always like wanted to have sex, yeah.
yeah, well, and he's like
You were like a creepy frat bro where it's like, come on, just the tip, just the tip.
no, he's like you basically raped me, which I did not, but it's just a funny joke.
Yeah, I mean, ovulation is real.
It was like something turned on in my body that was like reproduce. But
Yes.
I wasn't actively trying to reproduce, but then yeah, I'm
Oops. Oopsie.
did you guys know we almost named Sebastian something else? His name was Wyatt even at his baby shower, and then I was like, no offense to anyone with this. But I was like, so many like boring white people have named their kids Wyatt. I was like, he can't be named.
If you're offended, I understand.
And I'm so sorry, but that's just my genuine, authentic feelings. I'm so
You're
sorry about
allowed.
that.
You're allowed.
But I was just like, because my name's Genevieve, like that name is picking up more steam nowadays. But it's like I grew up with a relatively unique name, and it's long, and then Sebastian came into my field, and then there was like a couple times where I just felt like I kept seeing him as an adult, and his name was Sebastian, and I was like, so I told Kevin, he's like, I really like that name, and then we started seeing these signs of people what the Sebastian name popping up, and then when he was born I looked at Kevin and I was like, so Sebastian, right? Like literally right after he flew out of my vag. um,
Oh, really? He flew out, huh?
I mean, it was honestly like the end of my birth was pretty easy. The from like that last phase of God, what's it called? you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like the last phase when it's like the pushing, like that can last sometimes hours for people. It was like 5 minutes for me, something like that. But I also manifested the fuck out of that. I got really clear because that I was a little afraid of that part. But I was like, that part will be very short and very easy for me. And I just like was locked in on that. And it was. And yeah, he came out very easily during that time. Um, and I looked over at Kevin and I was like holding him and crying. And Kevin was like teary-eyed and I was like, Sebastian. And he's like,
That solves that. Aw,
that's
that's so beautiful.
Mhm.
So okay. One thing that I want to clarify, and then
We should probably wrap
yeah,
up.
and then we have like two silly questions, and then we're gonna be complete.
Sounds good.
But so yeah, this is also the era where Vampire Diaries, I guess I'm Stefan just because I'm like really sweet, and lovely and hot and attractive
Did you
and
say you're Damon?
no, I said I'm
Well,
Stefan,
like I feel
but
like
then I can also flip the humanity switch.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And you're Damon.
And she does sometimes. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
After one too many tequilas. No, I'm just kidding.
She hits
I don't
me.
I don't
No, I'm
really
just
drink
kidding.
tequila. But yeah, Damon, Stefan, and sorry, Elena is in the tomb now. But I just want to like I just really feel like right now, what is really in alignment for me is if I do date, it will be casually. I'm absolutely not looking to merge my life with somebody anytime soon. Um,
And this is usually when you meet the person when you're like, absolutely not.
I
Just
think
kidding.
I would have a panic attack if somebody tried to like get me
Fair
into a
enough.
relationship. I would be like, because I don't
Like
want to sign
Stefan being trapped in the box under the water.
exactly. I don't want to. I'm not signing a lease with anybody anytime soon. I am not. Um,
Getting into a
I'm not
relationship.
getting into a
Yeah.
relationship.
Mhm.
I'm not doing any serious commitment for a while. Will I go on some dates at some
Yes.
point?
And you
Yeah.
should document them publicly.
And should I tell you guys the tea?
Yes.
We
If she doesn't, I will.
yeah, because there was this one guy that asked me out, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and so yeah, but I just really want to focus on my work and myself and like just like I've already started decorating
Being
the
Auntie Nana.
yeah, and I've already started decorating the basement in so much Taylor Swift stuff, and it just
Kevin's like, full.
yeah, hey buddy, go back upstairs. But like and it just feels like really good right now and like and I don't feel any like timeline pressure. Like if I die alone, that's fine. I don't think I will. If I really wanted to get into a relationship, I could get into one in a couple of weeks, but I really don't want to. Um so I know how to date. I literally teach people how to do it for a living partially and have relationship healthy quality. I'm good. I'm okay for now. It is very fun, but that's not my focus. For me. And so yeah, that's where we're at. So stay tuned on upcoming, I don't know. And I am curious to date because again, like I just feel like it'll be a very I don't know, I'm good at dating, I guess. I don't know, but whatever. Um,
It's like an Olympic athlete playing their favorite sport.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like the fucking everybody's ideal or anything like that, and that plays a role, obviously. But yeah. So would you rather, Genevieve? Question for you.
No repeats.
Well, okay, let me see what I can think of off the top of my head here. But would you rather give and I'm not gonna speak to Kevin specifically. I'm just gonna say in a hypothetical universe. Okay. So hypothetically, would you rather have to I don't know why this is coming to my head because I was gonna say something about blowjobs, but like I feel like I like blowjobs and I feel like you like blowjobs. Like I feel like whatever. But I was gonna say, would you rather give a 3 hour blowjob a day in order and then like have endless childcare. Ugh. I don't know. It's like the original question because we tried to like record this podcast before.
Your time?
Yeah. But like we tried to record this before, so
I said no repeats, so I'm putting her in a difficult.
yeah, it's rude.
All right,
I don't even like.
authentic reaction.
I know. Okay.
Okay, fine.
So would you rather? Because I can maybe switch it up a little bit here, but would you rather be with a man who will never eat pussy? Like he thinks it's
Automatically the second one.
what if the second guy's an abuser?
tell you guys about my first serious relationship. My God. So he ate it. He ate it well, but he was so hard to leave. Oh my goodness. She is not to be young Genevieve is not a relationship role model.
No, I'm no.
I get
Absolutely
it
not.
when
No.
the sex is good.
No, and it's interesting because I think about things differently now. I've obviously done so much work and inner work and healing relationally because in the past I was like, little bit's kind of hot, just so fucked up.
I know, like it's like, ooh, like he's so possessive and controlling.
Oh
It's
my
cute.
gosh.
It's me.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now it's like that.
It's all fun and games until you've had that, and then you're like,
It's disgusting.
I literally cannot breathe. Like,
And like for me,
I'm
it's
having
just like
panic attacks. Thank you.
it's just like, ew, you're a little boy. Like, get away from me. Ugh. It's like I genuinely don't feel as though you are a man if you are abusive. Like, and so there's no attraction there, which is
Mhm.
amazing because younger Genevieve was like, I felt like polarity and attraction with people who weren't operating in a healthy
It's
way.
unconscious polarity.
Totally, exactly, yeah. So, um, hmm,
So, but would you rather?
so the options were a man who doesn't eat pussy ever, but he's great in every other way.
Yeah, he's a great father. He is financially successful and generous. Like he makes a positive difference in the world, but just for some reason, he thinks eating pussy
Well, because then
is
how great of a man can you really be if you don't eat
I
pussy?
agree.
Because there's a lot of
Deep,
misogyny, deep,
unconscious.
unconscious misogyny or conscious misogyny.
But he's so compartmentalized, it's never going to come out. And then this other
No
person,
such thing, ladies.
it's true. There really is no such thing.
Hypothetically,
But
in
hypothetically,
this made-up universe of made-up rules and laws.
okay. But a guy who eats it, he loves to eat it. He's so good at eating it, and he does it as much as you want. Um, and he makes minimum wage. And he tells you not to wear butt pants.
Yeah. No. So the other one, because it's there are more important things than eating pussy. Okay. So many more important things.
It's pretty important.
But yeah, it's like if you're not willing to, just know I'm like tisk tisk. Like
I'm surprised you didn't just say I'll be alone. Fuck both them.
you didn't give me that option. She did this thing once where she was like, you can't do because if I had a different option, I would be like neither and no. You know?
I'm just being difficult. Do you have one for me? Go for the kill on this one.
You don't want me to. You don't want me to.
I'm scared.
No, because like my brain went into like bringing up people.
Oh, like
Would you rather this happen or this happen?
hold on, we'll be right back. I gave her permission.
Okay. Um,
Would you rather? I thought this was gonna be a horny question, but okay.
no. Would you rather? That's too easy for her, you guys. She
I'm a slut.
after she left her fiance relationship, it's the next one she like there's no
It was Stefan without the humanities.
there's no stumping this one topic, so we're gonna go somewhere a little bit different.
6 butt plugs.
Okay.
I've never done that.
So many questions and concerns. Okay. For a different time. Would you rather your most recent ex to want to get back together now and on with the, I guess, caveat in mind that they were going to rise in every way that you wanted them to, but it was going to take a very, very long time. I'm talking they would eventually get there to satisfy your wants and your needs. But they're not there yet, and it would take a lot of time and a lot of work. I'm talking years, okay? Or to meet a new man when you're ready.
Yeah.
Who
Not now.
you're ready, who is embodied in everything that you want and need. And that is the vantage point in which you start your relationship from.
So, I do have an easy answer here, but the thing to consider with questions like this, ladies and gentlemen, have a seat, um, is, it's like it's all about it's an energy question, right? So it's an energy question of because there is meaning and value in how much time and history you have spent with someone, right? Like that history, it means something, right? And like in my last relationship, there was a connection there that feels so like special and irreplaceable. But at the same time, like I would rather be alone than have to and like go without any connection than to be in any kind of connection that cost me my sense of self. And so I just feel like
And it does when it's draining.
and so I feel like if something took a lot of time, like I like relationships do require energy and it's not a bad thing when it's a good fit, right? Because then it's giving back to you. It's helping you build like the vision that you guys share together. But that would feel like even though like the romantic in me is like I would do anything for love and like a deep connection. It's like I wouldn't though, and I don't want to. Like I don't want to do that to myself. I don't deserve that. And like I also just don't have a scarcity mindset. And like and when it comes to like I know when I'm ready, I will manifest the fuck out of the relationship that I want. I just don't fucking want one right now.
Yeah, and I feel like honestly, you just outside looking in, as we've all been doing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like swung into, I almost said names. I want the first relationship for that long term, like fiance person. We all know who I'm talking about.
I just don't want to name names. Let's
No,
just leave them alone,
I
please.
get it.
Please leave them alone, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're leaving them alone. But that, and then it's like you needed the opposite end to like integrate the pieces that were missing, and then now it's like, I just feel like the next relationship, like based on what you know about yourself, who you are, how you operate, all these things, like it's just like it's gonna be so good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. When you're ready, which is not now.
Yeah. Some of you guys are fucking thirsty as fuck.
I know. And it's like as soon as like and this is another reason why I didn't talk about it because it's like when I talked about my last breakup online, I the amount of weirdos that immediately jumped into the DMs and like exes and ex things. I'm like, go away. I don't want to deal with this while I'm healing. I don't want to deal with your weird horny energy on me when I'm just trying to heal my heart. Predators.
Yeah, seriously.
I know you want this booty and this juicy feminine heart, but it's not gonna happen.
For you. I was talking to a
No,
client about this, about how some men just feel so fucking entitled. Anyways,
there's a lot of amazing men out there too. Yeah,
totally. No, but
that are not
this
that
was
good,
in
but
a
there's some
context
weirdos.
of a business setting, but we're yeah. And I'm just like sometimes again, you got to prioritize and protect your energy, and you've got to hold out for like what actually is going to honor and feed your energy.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say before we go is I saw this TikTok recently that spoke to me, and it was like, be a lever. And it was like this woman who was talking about, and she was like a bit older than me, and she's like, I'm like so happy, I'm in a really great marriage. And she's like, you know how many men I broke up with leading up to this point? She's like, do not be afraid to be a lever. I left shitty men, I left really great men that were just not right for me. Be a lever. And I was like, I'm a lever.
You are a leader.
I am a lever. Believer.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
I think that's it.
Salinator.
That's it, folks.
All right. Da 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 da. Adios. See you on the next episode.
Thanks for being
Hit end.
here.